Yeah, and I think it's important that we talk a little bit about the experiences of just getting adjusted to college. So I think that's a good place to start. And obviously, the pandemic has its own challenges. But what do you all remember from your own transition into college? Or what do you hear from students that you're working with about them getting adjusted? Jane, do you want to take that one first?
Sure. So my own experience was I could not wait to get out of my house. I could not wait to get into what felt like my own apartment, which is really just, my residence hall with my roommate. Um, but then when I got there, oh my gosh, it was a shock. I was just really like, wait a minute, if I need something, I have to be the one to find it. It's not in my house somewhere, or it's not at my fingertips somewhere. I had to take the initiative and do that. So while I was ready for it and open for it, doing it was different. So it took a little bit of time um, to get used to that. And I think being a counselor for students here, what I've experienced is that students feel similarly, although some are more apprehensive about leaving home because it's a safety and security place. It's something that they know. And then reaching out to others or meeting new people, I think, can sometimes be anxiety producing. So we see a lot of homesickness initially, and then a little social anxiety about meeting new people. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And I remember going off of what you just said, like my own experience too, of being like the first generation to go to college and being really hard to reach out to family members who haven't gone through that to get answers. So it was a lot about just making connections early on with people who could give me some insight or ideas for things around campus, whether that's an RA, hall director, someone you meet on campus who knows a little bit about it.
Are we all first generation? I am. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of learning independently at first.
Filling out that FAFSA yourself, right? is a chore in itself. So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Kara, Kate, do you have anything you want to talk to?
Yeah, I was going to mention, this is bringing back some memories, which I love. But I was going to mention so I also did a summer program for undergrad. And ours was about twice as long. It was about 6 weeks that we were on campus to get acclimated prior to our first year. And I was so grateful for that summer program because when I came back in the fall, I had friends and I kind of knew what to expect. I knew where certain buildings were, so I wasn't late to my first class on the first day because I was like, I know where that is. I just felt so much more confident and comfortable, especially being first gen, not having people in my family that I could say, hey, like, how do I do this? What office do I go to if I need this help? One thing that I wish I had known and wish I had utilized more was I wish I had used the services that were available to me, like the counseling center, like different support services, because freshman year can be difficult. It can be a transition. You've got a lot of new things going on. And similar to Jane, I was super excited to like get out of my parents' house, live on campus, have that college experience. And I was definitely mature and ready to handle a lot of things that came my way. But I do wish that I would have been willing to reach out for support when I needed it the most. So that's just one piece of advice that I would say.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of reinforce normalizing the experience for those who get to school and are like, what am I doing here? Between both the imposter syndrome and really just a sense of readiness that I could do this, I really struggled. And I always like to tell people that both my parents took me to school and I went somewhere. I transferred a couple times, but I started somewhere a few hours away. And I got in the car and I was one of the first of my friends to leave for school. And I told them, I think we got to the highway and I said, turn around, I'm not doing this. And they fortunately did not listen to me, which was really good. But I just, like I said, I want to normalize how kind of shocking it is to leave your home and go to this other place where you might know people, you might not know people. And many of us have had that experience ourselves.
Right. when we as counselors talk about anxiety, we like to mention that some anxiety is good and some anxiety is normal and expected. And so, the butterflies in your stomach about meeting new people and trying new things, that's expected, and that may not go away right away. So it's kind of like what we ask of you is to, one, you can talk with us and your peers, but two, to sort of just kind of embrace it and say, okay, this is pointing me, or this is telling me, this is my gut telling me I need to do something different. Maybe I need to not like hide away in my room and I need to go to one of these activities, particularly opening weekend. There's going to be a lot going on that first weekend and week, and take advantage of it. You may not know someone, but you will meet people that way. Walk around campus and find out where your classes are and what the buildings are, those kinds of things. But a little bit of anxiety is going to be your friend if you think of it that way. Hold hands with it, bring it along, and get used to it, because there's going to always kind of be sort of that underlying anxiety as you transition through this first year.
Definitely. All of what you were saying kind of made me remember getting dropped off, and then it's time to like go to sleep in my bed for the first time and just being like, this doesn't feel right. Like, it's not the same feeling of going to your room at home and relaxing and feeling comfortable and secure. There's a little bit of fear and stress around maybe staying in a room with someone you don't really know too well, or if you do know your roommate, just being in this weird new space. So I think a lot of that does take a little bit of adjustment to just get comfortable and start to feel like, all right, I'm actually putting my roots down here a little bit. So I think that is that adjustment that you're all talking to as well.